Hi, Stefan, Fiskeshopen Mörrum. I'm gonna tie a fly for you from our new book. It's a salmon fly, funny enough. No, it's a very classic fly for Mörrum called Therkildsen Terra. The inventor is Lars Terkildsen, as you might have guessed from the name. Invented in the 80s and a super good low water fly for when the water is hot and running low. So yeah, let's just start out. I'm using a standard double hook size 6 on this one. Just gonna start by doing what all of you know you have to do. Put on some thread to the end there. And the first thing I'm gonna do is tie in a tail of some Mörrum Ginger marabou. This is a color that came to life at pretty much at the same time as the fly was invented. And this color is a color that's quite good for Mörrum. So you have probably seen it before. I'm not gonna use a lot for the tail, and it's not gonna be this long. You're gonna see in a little while. I'm just gonna tie it in here. Top of the hook, there you go. Cut off the extra there. I'm just gonna pull the tail a little bit. You can do that before you tie it in as well. Sometimes I tie them quite bulky with this tail, and then afterwards I like peel it off. But this little material here is enough because it's a fly for low water. The next thing is that we're gonna tie in a hackle, and it's the same color as the marabou. It's again this Mörrum Ginger color, as we call it. Some of you might call it something else, but we refer to it as the Mörrum Ginger. I'm just going through the fibers now to see that they are as I want them. I'm not gonna do a lot of reps with this one here, but I still want them to be good. And the tricky thing is when you tie this close to the points of the hooks, you have to be a little bit careful that you don't break your thread or something like that. Oh, your finger gets stuck in the hook. So I'm just gonna start hackling. I'm gonna hold on the fibers so I make sure they get all the way around, not laying there. Not really counting how many rounds I do here, but I stop when I feel for it. And I think we're getting close to a point where I think this is enough. You can always peel some off afterwards if we want to, but let's lock it in there. That was the thing I talked about, getting too close to the hook points. Also a reason why quite often I use thick threads for my salmon and sea turtle flies for many reasons, but right now it's a good thing because we have these hook points quite close to where we are tying. So there's a rump hackle there, or butt hackle, what do you call it? But from the beginning, this fly was actually a version of Ullsocken, so it had 3 hackles. But Lars, he found out that this fly was even better with just a few hackles. Sometimes he even ties it without the tail. But a hackle in the end and a hackle in the top of the hook. Next thing we're gonna do now is like tie in a rib. Just using a copper thread here. This is a fine copper thread. You can use thicker ones if you want to. So we're gonna put that aside there. Then originally for body you use a peacock eye feather, but I've chosen to use some peacock Herls instead, because they're a little bit more durable when you hackle them, and we don't want to be sitting here and getting stressed about our peacock feather not being durable enough. So, chosen 4 here. We hope it's enough. It doesn't matter if some of them are shorter than the other ones. There's still some that are a little bit longer. Just gonna tie them in quite hard here, so they stay in place. And then we just start wrapping them around here. Just want to cover a little bit of what we see from the hackle stems. Then it's just keeping a really good finger on it here, because if you drop it, it's gonna whirl up. So there you go. I'm gonna lock them in now, like that. Thing about peacock in the humus-coloured water, as we have in Mörrum, it turns a little bit bronze in the water, actually, and you know what you say, always match the hatch, and there's not really any hatch going on when you fish for salmon, or not a hatch that means anything for the salmon in that matter. So yeah, make it fit the surroundings good. I'm just gonna rip now. I'm just gonna do it quite close to one another, just because I want it to be a fly that is gonna last a little bit longer than just one fish. And you see the way I do it, I'm not like really thinking about how it lays and looks, because in the end that doesn't really matter. This is a fly for fishing, and it should just be durable and have these color combinations in one another, the copper rib and the peacock. Last thing we're gonna do now is put on another hackle, and then the fly should be ready to go fish. Now we just wait. Let's see if we can find another feather that's good enough for me. And again, I pull quite hard on, I tie quite hard with this thread, just to make sure that the hackle stays in place. And then we just start wrapping. So, almost in the end there. So, we just cut this off, pull those loose fibers backwards. Now it's just a little bit too much close to there, yeah. Cut these ones off. And just like pull a couple of knots here. It's good enough. So, cut the excess thread off right there, and then we can put some varnish on, and then the fly is ready. Doesn't look like much, but this is a very, very good fly actually. Yeah, again, as you probably heard before, less is more, and this is really in the section of flies with but there's not a lot of material in them. So yeah, try it out, do your own version or whatever, but this is fishy.